Oh, hello. This is Jason Dupree. You are listening to OCR Tech Talk. I just got done, just got back from New York and I'm driving home. And this is just going to be a little recap of my weekend at Citi Field. Citi Field, the Spartan the stadium race. Pardon my throat. It's a little dry from a long flight. The weather was apparently there's a big giant storm that came through, and it's not here. It's gone from way earlier, but it was a big giant line that the plane had to go around apparently. So, okay, let's get into it. Spartan Citi Field was not a series race, and if you listen to episode 1, then you probably have an idea why we chose Citi Field as opposed to doing one of the series races. The series races, the 3 series, US series, complicated things with me trying to find a better balance with everything. Having 9 total races just for US series really just completely eats up all the rest of the year. And on top of that, some of the series races are on the same day. And some of them are back-to-back weekends, and it just trying to find a better balance for this year it was just not possible with those 3 series. So I had to decide to instead, how can I cover the series and as best possible while still leaving time to cover some of the bigger races like regional championships and such. So I decided maybe if I covered the last one of every race. And while this almost works out, because I'm going to cover Fayetteville, which is the last race in the South Series. I'm going to cover Poconos, which is the last race in the Northeast Series. The West Series ends in Utah, which is the same weekend as Poconos. So that didn't work out quite like I had hoped, but pretty close. But it almost also allows me to cover the last race in the Canadian Series, which is Blue Mountain. And I don't recall, I think the last race in the Mexican Series didn't work out, but they are having the Latin American champs in Mexico City. So that it does work out schedule-wise for me to go there. So with the, the coverage of that the Latin American series, I will, we'll have basically like the preamble of the race. We'll talk about the series itself and any other series that happened in Latin America. On top of that, that I'm going to be following all the series that I can all year, and keeping our website results up to date with all the series results. And if you hadn't seen it yet, go check it out. I talked about it in episode 1, but it's been done. It's been done that now the website has a page for the leaderboards, and there are some drop downs to choose what information which series you want to see. So you pick a year, because 2025, the US 2025 series is in there, and you pick a series. So currently the only series that you should see in there are Australia and US South, because they're the only ones that have had races so far. I was hoping to remember what the next series is, but can't off the top of my head. But I know it's in like a couple weeks. So that's there. So you can go look and see, basically what the order was for the first race, because there's only been one race of each of those. So that's there. Yeah. So talking about why I chose Citi Field. That's right. Bringing it back around. Citi Field. We basically didn't have any series races that were the last of the series, because Jacksonville did happen in the first few months. So January, February, March, all did not have any last of the series races or anything else that made sense. So it was like, maybe, what else could we do? So maybe we could do our local race showcase. Almost worked out to do, I don't know, like Warrior or something, another. I can't remember which race we were looking at, but it didn't work out. So what we decided on was Citi Field. I don't know why I even knew Citi Field was going to be this early, but nonetheless, Citi Field being a stadium race, we have never covered a stadium race before. So it's like, all right, that sounds cool. Let's cover a stadium race. And then the Dallas Urban race, which I really wanted to go to anyway, is in April. So that was a good fit as well. It's like, perfect. We've got a March and an April. And even though those two aren't part of series, they're unique. That's the thing. That's the thing I really wanted to show, is just like, this gives us a great opportunity to showcase unique types of races, because we don't get those in the series. We see the series and it just kind of is the same thing year over year, which is totally fine, but that's just what it is. So this gives us an opportunity to showcase just something different, something that you don't typically see. And along with that, my coverage of Tough Mudder Infinity just ended up being a obstacle video, because I didn't want to, because I wasn't really sure. I wasn't gonna go out and cover Infinity like we do with World's Toughest. It was too short notice, having rabbits out there all day. It would have just had to been an edit. I don't know. It just would have been a nightmare to try to capture it, I think. So I went and ran it and did a video, an obstacle video. That is up and out. So if you haven't seen that yet, it's out on YouTube. The Tough Mudder Austin all obstacle video. Second all obstacle video that I've made for Austin. Interestingly, the first one was when Tough Mudder asked us to come out and provide live coverage that would show of some obstacles, just like a live feed of some obstacles that would show on a jumbotron that was near the start line. So Netflix had partnered with them to market a new show called Damsel. And so there was a couple of obstacles that were branded with Damsel stuff. One of them was like Shawshank, and it had the tubes that you crawled in had, and yeah, the whole part that you crawled through had like cavern type stuff. So like stalactites. They had some in the tubes themselves. It was pretty cool. So while I was there doing that, once I got the feed set up, then I just kind of went out and ran around the course. I didn't go and do the obstacles, but I just went and checked the course out, ran around for a while, and then brought my camera and did the obstacle video. So I filmed the obstacles. So that worked out pretty good. And that video has turned out to be our best viewed video on our YouTube channel. It's pretty wild that it is maybe twice, like it's almost got 100. I think it's got over 90,000 views. So it's almost got 100,000 views. And I think that the next highest video might have maybe 30 or 40. So it's pretty wild. Like even, more views than some of the high rocks that we covered. So that's why we picked those for February, March, and April. And that's why I went to Citi Field. And so Citi Field, being up in New York, Mike Stefano and Caitlin Ritter live up in Massachusetts, I believe. And they, you often go run that race. So Mike ended up coming and we hung out and spent the weekend, doing New York. So we did the race at Citi Field. Citi Field was fun, but they didn't have the venue didn't allow Spartan to put anything on the field. So we were in the stadium and out in the parking lot and like throughout the stadium too, not just on the stands, but throughout certain areas. But it was just, you typically get that finish on the field kind of thing. Like I know that's what we've always seen in the past, and even I the only other stadium race I ever ran before was the Cowboy Stadium, AT&T, and it was always finished on the field too. You actually ran across the field a couple times, which is pretty cool. Football field. So yeah, it's kind of odd that the venue did that to them, but so they had to make a lot of like last minute changes this past week, I think. But nonetheless, there was a pretty good crowd. I think there was close to 5,000 people, maybe even more so when you consider the kids races. I think there might have been like 6. It was cold. It was like in the 40s and very windy. So it was a chilly day, but the sun was out. The vibe was good. People were having a good time. People were, racing hard. The elites raced hard. I had Tyler Movsessian help rabbit for me. He actually opted to run age group instead of elite so that he could help me rabbit. And he's gonna do the commentary with me, or not with me, but with Miles on Monday, which is tomorrow because today's Sunday. I'm just getting home. Just a quick thing about New York is we went downtown, we went to Times Square, and then we walked to the barcade, and then we walked around from there a little bit we were trying to find something fun to do. So we eventually found a ping pong bar. So that was actually really cool. And we had wished we had found it earlier because we didn't find it till like 1 in the morning. And had we found it earlier, we probably would have stayed there a lot longer. But we ended up getting back and going to bed at like 3:30. So it was a pretty good night, pretty full night. But Times Square, like the city itself, wasn't anything special. Like I can't imagine myself going there just to go visit New York. I would like, if I find myself in New York again, I would like to go to City Park during the day and maybe do a little bit more searching of like what other fun things there are to do, because just walking around the city doesn't really do much for me. I did enough of that in New Orleans. Don't really care for it. I didn't care for it in New Orleans either. But so the race was pretty good, but it was kind of weird because they they sent out a group of guys and girls at the same time. So there was only like, I don't know, 3 or 4 girls in the first wave, and then there was about that many in the second wave. So it made it really tough to follow who was in the lead. I think the same thing kind of happened for the guys, where you had 2 guys that were in the second wave that ended up finishing in the top 5, and excuse me, the women were kind of the same thing. So if you watch the show, uh, you'll see that we follow. Now I had cameras on course, so we do see in order, who gets to the obstacles first. But then again, second wave comes behind them, and so it's impossible to tell, like, are they really in the lead because they got there first, or somebody doing the course faster. But hopefully, especially since Tyler was there, and I've watched all the footage. I actually did an edit of it. I should be able to give the story to Tyler and Miles for them to do commentary. I think it'll be fine. And really, that's the whole reason why I wanted to do this episode on the way home. So not gonna be a long episode because I'm less than probably like 5 minutes away. But I wanted to share how I handled this race. I only had one rabbit, and like I said, I did an edit. So tech talk time. I knew, it was probably a good chance I would need to do an edit because I didn't know the stadium. I didn't know the layout of the course, and there was a good chance it was just going to be like next to impossible to follow the race appropriately. So I picked some obstacles to take my 5 cameras out and put on. So I used monkey bars, the cord crawl up the stairs, multi-rig, one of the unique ones, rolling epic, which is not really an amazing obstacle. I really should have picked a different one, but nonetheless, rolling epic, and spear throw. Yeah, I think that's all of them. So those 5. So I had cameras on those 5, and these are on the Mevo cameras. And the Mevo cameras don't have a time code on them. Now, one new thing that I did for this race is I used, instead of the timestamp camera that I had been using, where the timestamp, the time of day shows up on the screen itself, and I just have to crop that out in the show. But I found out that the Blackmagic camera app, it actually can embed time code into the videos. So you can tell it, use time of day for the time code. And the great thing about it is when you throw this into DaVinci Resolve, and DaVinci being the company, or Blackmagic being the company that makes DaVinci Resolve, the video editing software, and they make the Blackmagic camera app, Blackmagic being the company, they have ways that these incorporate with each other. So the time codes, you can take the video, you put it into your media library, and then you right click on it and tell it to insert the video into the timeline using the time code. So it will put the video in the timeline in time, in order. So like, one of the things that's been always hard to deal with, I've done it, but it's been hard to deal with, is whenever the rabbits will accidentally stop and start the video. So it makes it really hard to line things up. But doing it this way, I can just tell it, just insert them all, and they're all exactly where they should be. And then I can make another video track with the other rabbits cameras and have those perfectly line up with the first, the other, all the rabbits cameras will all line up perfectly. So it makes it really easy to throw in all of the rabbit cameras. Now this did happen with Tyler's video, and I even accidentally stopped my camera one time and had to restart it right away. So this was super helpful in lining up mine and Tyler's cameras. And on top of that, I took the Mevo videos, and these are all on micro SD cards inside the Mevo cameras. And so I had to take them off the Mevo the SD cards, put them in on the computer, and then when I load them into DaVinci, I basically put one in, and then I find somewhere where I know that both my camera and the Mevo camera caught the same thing. And so in this case, I used the cord crawl where the girl that I was following, Kara, I believe, she was going through the cord crawl. So I used that spot to line up the two videos. And then once I got that one in, at the very beginning of the Mevo Mevo camera, I did 3 claps to get a wave, a spot where the audio wave file peaks. So you can see the waveform in the audio track. And then once I get the first Mevo video lined up with my Rabbit camera, then I can throw all the other ones in and line them up very quickly and easily with those claps. Just like a movie has the clapper, the classic movie clapper where they say take 3, and then they hit the thing and it goes, that's the whole point of that. So once I had them in there, then I started editing. So I actually edited mine and Tyler's videos separately first, and then started looking at those other cameras. And it was pretty easy because I really had to look through and be like, okay, for cord crawl, look for the first athlete that comes through, and then from there just start doing the edits from there. Okay, 1 second. Parking. And then from there, I just started chopping out, like, this is all empty space. Just give me the stuff where the athletes are going through the obstacles. And then I basically get rid of everything that's not usable first. And then I go in and start refining it and being like, okay, I've got coverage here where I've got my camera on, from here to here, my camera shows an athlete. Maybe Tyler's video overlaps that, maybe it doesn't. And maybe the Mevo, same thing. Where they overlap, I start picking what's the better shot, and then cutting out the other ones, and then just start chopping it all up. And then there ends up being some spots where there is no camera on an athlete at all, so I just chop those parts out and take them out, and then basically like condense, just skip ahead in time. Now, before I do that, I did take a timeline. I did this once before for last year for Seattle, where I took a timer, a race clock, and put it on top of the video and have it go across the entire race. And then when I start chopping out these spots, I chop out the camera, the race clock as well. And that way everything, we watch the whole race, almost the whole race, with some parts basically skipping ahead, and you get a better story without the boring spots with no action. So, oh my God, it's windy outside. Okay. All right. So that's pretty much it. I'm excited I think it came out really well. I did the edit in the hotel room in like maybe 3-4 hours max. I think I started the project and I took a nap and then got back up and finished it. It was pretty easy. And like this, that's why I wanted to share this in this episode, because I was telling Mike saw me do the edit, and he was kind of impressed that I did it so fast. So I thought it'd be interesting to kind of share how that process works. But anyway, so that's it. Look forward to the show Monday night. I'm sure this episode will come out whenever I'm ready for it, hopefully this week, but also the obstacle video later this week as well, hopefully. And next race being the Dallas Urban Race, not Stadium, Urban Race. And still need rabbits for that. But I think I'm gonna ask the F3 guys, see if anybody wants to rabbits, because I think they could do a really good job. And there's a bunch of them too. So looking forward to it. All right, I'm gonna go get some sleep because it's past 11 o'clock, and I hope you enjoyed listening to my tech rambling here. And we'll see you next time.